All right. Hello and welcome to our first edition of the Real Estate Dealmakers podcast. We're going to call it Beyond the Deal. So I'm here today for our first podcast as the host, but I won't be the host going forward. We have a very special guest here with me. Her name is Gabrielle, and we're here at the Business Foundry in our podcast studio. And our first podcast is really to introduce you guys to Gabrielle, the mastermind behind this Real Estate Dealmakers group. So, Gabrielle, welcome.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I guess we'll start from the beginning. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you? What do you do? And how did you get into this whole real estate world?
Sure. So my name is Gabrielle Simmons, as you mentioned, and I will be the host, so you guys know, of this podcast going forward. And I already have several investors and wholesalers that are going to be coming out to speak with me. And some of the other people here to just do some interviews. I got started in real estate when I was 23. I started studying and mentored under Chris Crone. Have you heard of him?
Chris Crone, I've heard of him, but tell me more.
Okay. So he specializes in, at the time, he specialized in what he calls compassionate financing, which is essentially sandwich leasing. So literally just from a Google search, found that and thought it was interesting because it's a different strategy from just becoming a realtor. Not that there's anything against realtors, but just becoming a realtor or being a fix and flipper, his strategy is super different. So I wanted to study under him. I bought into a mentorship program with him and went to some of his events and was just learning all the things. And then I decided to take the leap and buy my first house. And I actually backed out. I was under contract and I got scared and backed out. I didn't lose my earnest money, but the agent actually came back to me after me backing out. I was like, hey, this is a good deal. The numbers make sense. Are you sure? And so then he offered to give me half of his commission to purchase the property. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. But I was super scared. I didn't know anything about real estate. And I knew the concepts that I had recently learned, right? But so anyways, I bought it. It was in Pueblo, and it was a duplex that was newly renovated. And so that was my first leap into real estate, and then I started wholesaling after that.
Interesting. So fear, uncertainty, and doubt. FUD, something we all have to deal with as investors, right?
Mm-hmm.
The fear of getting into the deal, the uncertainty whether the deal makes sense or not, and the doubt whether we're on the right track or not, right? So
Yeah.
So hopefully that's something we can work on here to alleviate some of the FUD with our community here of investors by providing them all the tools, knowledge, and equip them to be successful in their endeavors.
Definitely.
So great. So you did your first deal,
Mm-hmm.
and then let me guess, you were hooked after that.
Yeah, well, that was my first buy and hold. And so it was a good property. I cash flowed and I sold it 2 years later for more than double what I bought it for. So at the time when I bought it, I was still very much full of FUD. But then shortly after I did my first wholesale deal. And that once I did that, then I was addicted. I'm like, oh yeah, I need to do wholesaling full time. At the time I was actually a full-time truck driver and owned my own truck, was driving all over the country. So I did my first wholesale deal from the truck. And then, I was like, I need to figure out how to move back to Colorado and just do this all the time.
Well, welcome back to Colorado.
Again.
Hopefully this time for a little while we build this community, which actually you've done a great job. So the way we met is through this Facebook group that was called Wholesale in Fix and Invest or Flip Invest. And then that's how we kind of got to know each other. And then you've done a great job. Like you have 19,000 plus members in this group.
Yeah.
And it's very active. A lot of investors, wholesalers, realtors, service providers. And now we're working together to kind of make it into a cohesive community. So tell me a little bit about the Real Estate Dealmakers of Colorado group and the vision. Well, maybe a little bit of the background behind it. Like, why did you create this group? What made you create it? And then maybe the vision moving forward as to how you would like to see it thrive and become a real tangible resource for the community.
Yeah. So when I created it, I want to say I was just a few months into like full-time wholesaling when I created the group. So that was about 3-4 years ago. No, yeah, at least 4 years ago. And I just created a group because it seemed like I needed to have that in order to post like my events. I knew that I wanted to do networking events at the time and wanted to have a place for other people to post their events that were like specific to Colorado real estate, but more specific wholesaling. Because I found there were lots of other groups, but not really many at the time about wholesaling. So, yeah, I just threw a group together, created some horrible graphics that like the image was all pixely. But over the years, it's just grown. And I've had the opportunity to connect with lots of people in person through the group. And I've gotten the feedback from lots of people that they enjoy the opportunity to come out and do the in-person networking event. So in meeting you and discovering what you and your other partner have created with some of the other groups, I realized that my Facebook group could become something even better than just being there. But, you know, with your masterminding behind the scenes of giving me ideas how to create events that are more about strategic partnerships and having a community that's also perfectly positioned here at Business Foundry between Denver and Colorado Springs. Yeah, so I saw the vision for how we could change this group that was kind of just there into something where we're like actively doing deals within the group and promoting those strategic partnerships. So yeah, we have our first event, the Real Estate Dealmakers Mixer, on Thursday, February 6th. And already have a lot of people looking forward to it. So, yeah.
No, and that's great. I mean, I can't take credit for what you've created. I just wanted to be part of it because, one, I was very interested in what you were doing in the real estate, how you were bringing people together. And I think that's what makes it a very interesting, like moving this virtual group into an actual physical group and bringing people together, offering events, networking opportunities, education, deal making, which is why we call it the Deal Makers. So tell us a little bit about the plans moving forward. So we've talked a little bit about the events. Tell us about some of the things that we'll be working on or you'll be working on to just provide even more value to the people on this group.
Yeah. So like our membership opportunities for vetted, verified, preferred investors, wholesalers, other people that are in the real estate industry, of course, that support us as wholesalers and investors, be it title companies, inspectors, just the vision being to bring everybody together through membership opportunities where we can have those events, monthly and quarterly events, offer education being classes, not just by me, but by industry experts all across the board, all across the country. I definitely look forward to bringing in some of my heavy hitters, as I'd say, from other states that are excited about this too, that specialize in wholesaling, fix and flip, subject to, all the different subjects. And additionally, providing them resources, wholesalers, investors, everybody in the industry who wants to be a part of this community. It's amazing that we can provide them resources for their business, like back-end stuff, marketing, branding, the ability to come and hang out in this podcast studio and make their own content, host their own workshops, there's so many things that we're offering in this group now, and I'm excited to be here with you and to be part of this community, because I know this is something that is not your everyday thing in Colorado, nonetheless, in many places all around the country. So,
Well, I can tell you I'm also very, very excited, Gabrielle. Thank you for the opportunity to work with you and to be part of this community. I think it's very exciting. We're kind of at the ground level today, but I've seen some of the plans you've got cooking, and it all looks very exciting. 2025 is going to be a great year. I feel like there is a lot of need in the market. Like you said, I mean, even wholesalers and investors want to talk to trusted wholesalers. Wholesalers want to work with investors that are actually going to buy something rather than waste their time, right? Once the investors buy, whether they want to hold or fix and flip or do whatever, they need reliable service providers, whether that's contractors or title companies or inspectors or insurance agents. And all of this becomes a whole ecosystem. And, love the vision of bringing all of these guys together and make sure they're vetted, make sure they feel part of a community. And I just can't wait to see what the end result is going to be. I know it's going to be a journey, right? Because nothing good happens instantly. So it's going to be a little bit of a journey. So for you guys out there, I highly, highly suggest you get in touch with Gabrielle, have a conversation, tell us about what you do, and let's see how we can partner together to build this community together, because a community is not one person. It takes a village, right? So
we're building that village.
Absolutely. So we're building the village, and we have steps to get there. So maybe just give us a little bit of the roadmap as to kind of how you see this evolving. And I know you'll be the host moving forward for Beyond the Deal podcast, which is very exciting.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about the roadmap, I guess. Step 1, step 2, what are you looking forward to do in Q1 as we look forward to, to building this village?
That's a tough one. Q1, I would say, first and foremost, looking to solidify the rebranding. I hope we don't lose too many people in the rebranding with the name change and the graphics changing. I think we've done a pretty decent job of putting out some videos and posts just to let everybody know, hey, it's the same group, same community, same great things, bigger and better now, just, with a new name. So I would say that's definitely the first step, is just making that a smooth transition. Scheduling out the podcasts with all of our amazing guests we're going to have, sharing their success stories, hard lessons learned, different strategies in investing. I'm getting all that scheduled out right now, actually. So I have several already on the books. But additionally, making sure we have our events all planned out for the year. I actually want to have that completed by the end of this first month, have all of our events planned out. So that way everybody who's following and engaging can have it on their calendars and be prepared to make the time to come and be a part of these events for sure. So, and then, just finding ways to connect people, making some deals happen every single day is my goal, I would say. Be it in-house deals between the investors and wholesalers we already know, or providing the education to wholesalers and investors so that they can go and do more deals. Really, I would say the most exciting part of all of this for me is like jumping back in the action of actually putting those deals together and providing the opportunity for the motivated sellers, who aren't a part of this group per se, but they are a big piece of what makes this whole community go around when we're looking for those good deals. And I really have a passion for helping those motivated sellers who are in tough situations. So Q1, I would say for sure I want to like close multiple deals within our group, and then break them down, get into podcasts and meetings and investor wholesaler meetups to dive deep into some of the deals that we close this quarter and upcoming ones.
No, that's great. And definitely looking forward to it. I think there is a lot of work to be done, but there's also a lot of opportunity. So thank you, Gabrielle, for actually putting this together. Somebody had to do it, and it was you. So thank you for doing that, bringing everybody together. And I definitely look forward to helping and doing what I can from my position here to help make this a grand success. So I'm sure we'll have more of these podcasts. Yep. Just a quick plug in. Thank you, Brandon, the man behind the camera, helping us put this together. So thank you, Brandon. And for you guys that want to have your own podcast, come by the Business Foundry. We have a podcast studio here. Gabrielle will be hosting her own podcast, but we'd love to hear all stories, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah.
Because it's all about learning. It's all about sharing. And that's how success is made, is supporting each other as investors, as wholesalers, as real estate professionals, learning from each other's successes and sometimes even failures could be good learning experiences. But hopefully we'll have more successes than failures. And that's why we're putting this together as kind of a support group to make sure everybody's got the tools to succeed in this market. So again,
sorry.
Yeah, I was going to give you the last word anyways. So back to you, Gabrielle.
I was just going to say, like, with that, I look forward to sharing some of my failures and successes with the group too. I think that's part of what makes this even more fun for me now is to be able to share like, hey, I can tell you a lot of what not to do in the real estate space and in your investing. And so definitely you guys stay tuned for those future episodes. I don't know who I'll bring in. I'll bring in somebody to like really ask me all the nitty gritty deep details into some of the, not failures, lessons that I've learned along the way in my real estate journey.
Well, you know what we say, we either succeed or learn, right? So we're going to have lots of successes and lots of learning experiences and lots of networking experiences. Thank you, Gabrielle, for this first discussion. And I definitely look forward to following the podcast and make sure we follow and listen and learn from all the great personalities and guests that you'll have here. Any last words before we close out?
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Well, thank you again. Thanks, everybody. And we'll see you next time on the Beyond the Deal podcast. Thanks, everybody.